right, here we have notes for Algebra 4-14, and this is example number 2 on piecewise linear equations. Okay, so looking up here, we've got 2 pieces again of our equation. Like I said, that's going to be the most common thing that you see, 2 pieces. That means we're going to need 2 different tables. So again, I'm going to highlight that first piece and then that second piece here. My first piece, I'm just going to rewrite that equation. That's y equals coming from right there. Y equals negative 3/2 x plus 5. Set up my x and y values. And then my green table. And so this one's weird because there's just a negative 3 there. But again, you've got that y equals. So this is y equals negative 3. Which hopefully you're remembering if that's a Vux or a Hoy situation and what that's going to mean for us. All right, looking at my rules for where I'm going to start and where I'm going to stop here, notice how this inequality was written a little differently than our first example. In our first example, we just had start points. We didn't have any stop points, which is why we had arrows at each end. In this one, with this equation, we have both a start point and a stop point. And notice how both of those inequalities have the lines underneath them, meaning that both of those points are going to be closed circles. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that stuff into my graph, my table, I mean. Starting at negative 2, so negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm just going to make notes that negative 2 and that 4 are both going to be closed circles. The more things I write down, the less I have to remember in my brain, the less likely I am to make mistakes. Okay, and we'll get those y values from our calculator later. Over here, again, we have y for x's that are greater than 4, which makes sense because those tables, only that first and last table value are going to overlap, nothing else. So starting with 4, but recognizing that because of that inequality, it's going to be an open circle. And so again, I'm just going to make a note of that this is going to be an open circle. So x's that are greater than 4, that'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't tell me when to stop. There's no stop, which means I will have an arrow at the end. So I'm drawing that arrow in the table, again, just to remind myself that I have to draw an arrow on here. All right, jumping to our calculator to get these values. You can see I already have them plugged in, all set and ready for us. So hitting second and graph to get to that table. So again, my blue equation is what I put into y1, and I'm looking for it to start at negative 2. So I'm just going to get that all scrolled. So again, I don't need to plot those 0.5s. I'm just going to focus on the whole numbers. Negative 2, 8, 0, 5, and 2, 2. So let's see, negative 2, 8, 0, 5, and 2, 2. And then last but not least, 0.4 is negative 1. And then you might notice if you clear out that first one, or if you're not clearing it out, you don't have to. You just have to look at the y2 column right here. Y2 stays the same for negative 3, which makes sense because our equation says y equals negative 3, meaning that every single one of these y values is going to be negative 3. This is a Hoy situation where I have a horizontal line with a 0 slope, and it's a y equals equation. All right, graphing. Here we go. Plotting these points. Negative 2, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Closed circle. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can kind of pick up the pattern from there. I'm going down 1, 2, 3 over 2, which makes sense because my slope is a negative 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But you just have to be careful to not go past your stopping point. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That 4, negative 1 is where I'm stopping. start and stop point, so no arrows at either end, just boom, nice line segment there. And picking up at an x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, 2, 3. See how we have that overlap, but one of those points always has to be an open circle, otherwise it's going to be weird. Continuing on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, connecting and following through with an arrow because it didn't give me a stopping point. So again, they're a little tedious, but once you keep practicing them, it gets easier and you'll get better at them. And this does show up every year in the Regents exam, so it's really important that you are practicing it. Have a great day.